Welcome to the 19th movie in the 50 Shades of Horror Challenge, 2009's Jennnifer'S Body. I'm your host, Roommate. If you haven't already seen this occult horror comedy, here's where you can find it available for streaming. Like Annihilation, this movie starts with a flash forward, though the glimpse of the future is only at the beginning of the movie. We meet the hero of the story, Anita Needy Lesnicki, after the entire story minus the epilogue is finished. She's trapped in an asylum for the criminally insane, and it doesn't take us long to figure out why she's there.
Just one toastum, huh?
I like toastums.
I recommend more complex carbs.
I recommend you shut the fuck up.
Then we rewind just a bit to the events leading up to Needy's incarceration, before we go all the way back to the beginning. On one level, Jennnifer'S Body is about a succubus, a demon from a botched sacrifice controlling the body of a young woman. This creature seduces people to eat them, parasitically drawing from her victim's strength, though withering away between feedings. On another level, the movie is about toxic friendship. Anita picked Jennnifer as her best friend as a youth, tying them together. When we get a glimpse of their past, the image has a very narrow focus and a low shutter speed, making the memory vague and hazy. As Anita and Jennnifer grow up, they develop an unequal friendship, where Jennnifer wants Needy to idolize her, which she does.
What? She's my best friend.
Jennnifer being the star with Needy always looking up to her was something they both needed, to feel special in Jennnifer's case. But Needy wanted an excuse to blend in, due to her proximity to greatness without being expected to be great herself. And the one-way dynamic of praise in their friendship gave Needy the feeling of moral superiority. But with a looming graduation, the two of them look at an uncertain future between them, made more complex by romantic entanglements. Chip, Needy's boyfriend, is decent but unremarkable, so she's settling for him, but that's right in line with her character. Jennnifer has her eyes set on a guy that would validate her stardom, an up-and-coming rock star named Nikolai Wolf.
Yeah, I've heard about you. You play your instruments really super good.
At the Melody Lane bar, Jennnifer introduces herself to him in the hopes of landing her ticket out of their small town. This doesn't turn out exactly as planned, though. The band members are all warlocks, who sacrifice virgins to attain wealth and success.
Want to be a big loser, or do you want to be rich and awesome, like that guy from Maroon 5?
They set a fire in the bar during their set, manufacturing a tragedy to capitalize upon with a falsely supportive song. And in the confusion and aftermath, they wrangle Jennnifer into their van, leaving Needy alone, unsure of Jennnifer's fate. Jennnifer is quite naive, despite her promiscuous lifestyle. She convinces the band that she isn't a freak in the hopes of being dismissed.
I'm a virgin. I've never even done sex. I don't know how. So, you guys should find somebody who does.
But she doesn't realize the value of her supposed innocence to them, so they sacrifice her, unaware that she came back. On her way to Needy's house, she pauses to prey on her first victim as a succubus, a currently lost survivor of the fire. This scene is one of the best in the movie at creating tension. There are so many subtle implications of Jennnifer's presence. The anticipation of seeing someone lurking in her house mounts with each camera angle change until Jennnifer pops up. In the infancy of her possession, not understanding her hunger for human flesh, she raids Needy's fridge with disastrous results. Their meeting that night left Needy truly worried and disturbed about her friend, which is completely ignored by Jennnifer the next day. The whole school is devastated by the fire. Needy's friend Colin checks up on her, expressing his relief that she was unharmed. Particularly grief-stricken is Jonas, who lost his best friend in the fire. The succubus inside Jennnifer sees an opportunity. She uses the vulnerability that he has from missing his friend Craig to get close to him, taking him to the privacy of the woods. There they are greeted by all the creatures of the forest, while they shed their clothes to embrace, before Jennnifer reveals her true intentions. I think this is a great movie, but I do wish that these scenes of attack were longer, though. Seriously, it's over in 2 seconds. As the town is forced to deal with another, seemingly unrelated tragedy, Jennnifer cleans off the evidence with a swim in a lake. Needy sees Jennnifer oscillate from being vivacious to looking drained of life. Her concern for her friend grows as she asks out Colin.
He's into maggot rock. He wears nail polish. My dick is bigger than his.
Well, I think he's really cool.
You do?
Yeah.
Wait, Colin.
It's really eerie and tense as he goes to meet her in a house still under construction, with every sound making the audience jump. When Colin finally does find Jennifer, her aggressive demeanor does little to assuage his nerves, and her eyes changing color makes it worse. Across town, Needy and Chip get intimate with each other in a decidedly more wholesome fashion. All seems well, but Needy is distracted from the throes of their passion by visions of Jennifer, along with the wake of blood her victims leave. She leaves Chip to find Jennifer, disturbed by her visions and desperately wanting to help, but she's too late to save Colin. She sees Jennifer running through the streets covered in blood. While Needy swerves to avoid her, Jennifer smashes her windshield anyway. Terrified, Needy makes her way back home. Overwhelmed by the darkness her friend embodies, she cries, remembering the good times. After she collects herself, Needy returns to her room, only to find Jennifer laying in wait for her in her bed. Jennifer tells Needy about the botched sacrifice, about her insatiable hunger and the perks of her infernal powers.
Like some X-Men shit, right?
But when Jennifer tries to drive a wedge between Needy and Chip, Needy has had enough and demands Jennifer leave. Needy researches about Jennifer's condition, hoping to end this seemingly endless tragedy before more are lost. When she tries to get Chip on board to help her, he gives her the typical "this sounds crazy" speech, so Needy has to do this on her own. This is made even harder by the upcoming school dance, where she's sure that Jennifer plans to go on a killing spree.
It'll be like an all-you-can-eat buffet.
Turns out her next victim never makes it to the dance, as Jennifer emerges to intercept Chip on his way there. And Jennifer didn't only want them apart to get closer to Needy, she wants to get closer to Chip as well. So Jennifer leads him to a more secluded location, this abandoned pool that looks like it should be Poison Ivy's secret lair. Needy senses something's wrong and goes looking for Chip. She finds him getting a really bad hickey from Jennifer. She bravely fights off Jennifer before moving Chip out of the pool. In a last-ditch effort, Chip impales Jennifer, though she survives.
You got a tampon? Thought I'd ask. You seem like you might be plugging.
After Jennifer goes off to lick her wounds, Needy turns her attention to Chip, who isn't gonna make it through the night. Before he passes on, he tells her that he loves her. Devastated by losing him, Needy returns home as an absolute wreck. But she resolves to get her revenge, getting rid of the demon that Jennifer has become by any means necessary. So we catch back up with the glimpse of this night from the beginning, and now we continue to the bloody ordeal that followed. In their struggle, Needy rips off the best friends forever necklace that she gave to Jennifer before striking a killing blow to Jennifer's heart. Jennifer's mother walks in, seeing the carnage, so now it's clear why Needy is incarcerated, for killing Jennifer. And now we're back at the asylum. Needy shows how some of Jennifer's powers passed to her after the attack, by floating up to escape. Needy turns her sights on the band that started everything, tracking them down to a hotel they're staying at on their tour. She finds the same knife that they used in the sacrifice of Jennifer, and uses it to paint the walls of their room red with their blood. We end on security footage of Needy as the band's adoring fans rush past her, with no one alive understanding why she did it. This movie is cynical. Almost everyone is duped by the morally bankrupt band, uncritically supporting their ascent to stardom.
They didn't help anybody escape the fire. I don't even know how that rumor got started.
It's true. It's on their Wikipedia.
It's not that everyone is evil, but they're wrapped up enough in their own lives, failing to ask any of the right questions. Jennifer and Needy are no exception to this, both showing very little concern for anyone that isn't part of their inner circle. Even before the demonic transformation, they are each preoccupied with their struggle to personally shine. Repeatedly throughout the movie, characters are punished for their uncritical eyes, which is most obvious with Jennifer's sacrifice. But the punishment goes on as her victims ignore highly suspicious behavior in favor of hooking up with her for their own ends. In this movie, so much is muddled with sexuality, vulnerability, aggression, companionship, competition, even identity. It paints a bleakly unromantic picture, where people at their most intimate are unaware and unconcerned with their partner's needs. Whether by naivete, distraction, or at worst malice, each person is too intent on fulfilling their own agenda to really connect. But this darkness is not somber, it's comical, reveling in the nihilistic glee that comes from a lack of innocence. With no purity to protect, we can enjoy all the thrills of mayhem without our pesky sympathies ruining the fun. This movie portrays the beautiful allure and corruptive influence of indifference, showing why people succumb to it and its cost. From the sinister band to the righteous Needy, you can trace the power of vanity and subjugation passing through Jennifer. The world around them doesn't care about the truth behind the power, rewarding the cruel band while punishing Needy for protecting others. Jennifer's body provides a fun way to explore our own inner demons, presenting a slick, dark, gorgeous, and hilariously derisive world. And what a captivating world it is to visit, according not just to me, but also to today's recommended other review by Trin Lovell. Her channel is focused on live reactions to movies, and she couldn't stop gushing about how much she loved Jennnifer'S Body. In this clip, she talks about the unique style of the movie, and how effective the writing is at immersing you in its atmosphere.
Well, you would think that, Roman, because you're a small-time gomer.
I love it that I don't understand most of the lingo that's being used in this movie. And I love that they're leaning into it so strong, and it's so natural. And I love that because I don't really understand all the lingo, but I love it. I love the universe that I'm in right now.
So check out Trin Lovell's I Love Jennnifer'S Body first time watching reaction. The link is in the description. The last two movies have had a couple of very unconventional killers with a leprechaun and a succubus. And the 20th movie will keep up with the weirdness, with a serial killer's ghost who uses a drill on a guitar to claim his victims. It's 1987's Slumber Party Massacre 2, and here's where you can stream this low-budget but highly entertaining slasher. I hope you found Jennnifer'S Body to be just barely scarier than Leprechaun Back to the Hood, but if not, let me know in the comments. Check back next Saturday to find out what stuff girls really do at slumber parties. It'll be like we've died and gone to heaven. See you then!